The following program is brought to you by the Midas Gold Group.
This is the Gold Standard from Midas Gold Group with Kenneth Russo. Hello, I'm Dave Dino. Welcome to the Gold Standard, your source for secure investment opinion and information on the advantages of purchasing and owning precious metals. Whether you're a novice investor or an experienced collector, this is the program that gives you a realistic weekly perspective on the state of the economy, reliable information about using precious metals, such as gold, silver, and platinum, to safeguard your wealth, and remarkable details about specific precious metal coins and bullion. Ken Russo is a senior vice president at Midas Gold Group. His peers characterize him as a straight shooter who will work harder for you than anyone else. Ken, welcome.
Yes, welcome to almost $7 a gallon gas here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it is getting high, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Our topic is warnings. And I've got a lot of current financial forecast articles in front of me today, and they're all warning, as we have done before, by the way, warning of a potentially disastrous economic crash, a crash that could reach across most of what have been thought of as secure investment vehicles. But before we look at those, let's take a look at the world around us this week. There's a tremendous amount of uncertainty that's already affecting investments, right?
Yeah, and let's start with the premise and keep it simple. You know, we've been in a bubble for the last few decades from time to time, and we've had a lot of monopoly money, funny money since literally since the 30s, mostly since the early 70s when Nixon took us off the gold standard, and it's all starting to come apart. And we've been talking about this for a while, Dave. Yes, we're talking about warning signs, but we're actually seeing things where we haven't seen a bond crash yet or a financial crash yet, but that's on its way. So basically, we're starting to see things really start to come apart right before our eyes.
And that's kind of leading me into our first question of the day. I'm looking at various headlines that I'm seeing now more and more. I'll read just through a couple of them. Investors face reckoning as stock market has worst week since beginning of pandemic. What does this market correction mean for your retirement plan? Will there be a recession in 2022? The odds are rising amid soaring inflation, high energy prices, and the Fed's historic error on inflation in 2021 keeps delivering more bad monetary policy. Ken, why is Wall Street so sensitive, so reactive to world events, whether they be issues like inflation or armed conflict?
Well, because I think those sorts of events bring indecision. You know, there's not a clear outlook, 6 months down the road, 12 months down the road. So I think Wall Street will always hate confusion, and they like money printing. They like, stimulus. They like low interest rates. And look at what's going on now where we're looking at higher interest rates. It's just a scenario that's making Wall Street very, very nervous. And, there's a lot of reasons to sell always, and some of those are front and center. So I would just say Wall Street, based on all of those news articles and events and just present day, there's a lot of indecision, and they do not like indecision.
Okay, the articles that we're going to refer to today are all saying what we have been warning about for months: the very real possibility of an economic collapse that could drag down people's life savings with it. We had an inkling of this back in the 2008-2009 era when many investments lost 30 to 40%. People who thought that they had their dreamed-of nest egg for retirement secured suddenly, and almost overnight, were wiped out, and they had to either continue working or find a job again to get by. One article that caught my attention zeroed in on the job market, and it tied recent trends to a warning about the future. It stated that there are currently in America 10.9 million job openings, but only at best 6.5 million people looking for work. That's a 4.4 million worker shortage. What does that mean?
Well, it's a lot there, Dave. And, basically, numbers don't lie. I mean, they tell a story that should make us all realize that there is a serious worker shortage. It's more than just mere inconvenience. And let's think about this again. A false, fake economy, bubble, overvalued assets. And that brings us to where we are here and what we've been talking about for the last year. So this is nothing new. This has all kind of been happening and building, and now we're at a point where it's almost as if we are headed in the very, very, very wrong direction. But here's what people really need to focus on and what's important. People are not going to work anymore the way that we saw 5-10 years ago. The last stimulus checks that went out a year ago, and the last bonus unemployment checks went out about 8 months ago. Millions of people have retired this year due to whatever, Dave. It could be COVID or government mandates for vaccinations. It could be to take care of their sick relatives who might be at home. They're caring for others, especially younger kids, where school is upside down. All of this is just disruption. And when we just talked a few minutes ago, we said, why does Wall Street hate what's going on right now? There's too much disruption. And in the economy and in the financial world, look at what's happening with all of this oil news. It's up again today, more disruption. Wheat went up over 50% last week. So bread is going to be getting more expensive, more disruption. The price at the gasoline pump is going to be increasing by the week, more disruption. Food, disruption. So that's very much confusing. And when people are investing and people are risking assets, all that means sell, sell, sell. So that's the kind of emotion that we see out there. And it's making the markets extremely volatile. But this is nothing to you and I. This is what we've been talking about for a while. And the need for people out there, everyday Americans, investors, to have diversification. It's very important.
So what does all of this do to the economy?
Well, it's obviously not going to strengthen it. And look at what's going on with prices. What's going on with prices to me looks like a sure bet to see some sort of a recession, mid-year or towards the end of the year. I mean, people are only going to be able to hang on for so long with these higher prices. It looks like a giant headwind, all this stuff, Dave, that's just going to cause a slowdown, and not to mention interest rates, which are headed up. If we think about nobody wanting to work and all this other stuff going on, offices are empty. Drive around and you'll see, loads of empty offices that are looking to be leased. Retail, whatever retail is left, there's no employees. Sales are decreasing, work hours are being cut, store hours are being cut. Hotel staffs are dwindling. Construction in some areas is slowing. The material aspect is very difficult, as either the prices are soaring or there could be no materials available. There's an excessive cost right now of many things. I read yesterday that nickel doubled. That's huge. I mean, and also who are going to be the laborers. So this is all coming to a head. It's more than just supply chain. It's not going away. What kind of imbeciles would be working in these high-powered, high-paying political jobs and say 6 or 12 months ago that this is transitory, it's not going to be around, it's not going to last, just relax? Well, I'm not willing to risk my entire nest egg on that sort of thinking.
All of these things that you've talked about, they are all a part of what we call the GDP, the gross domestic product, which will slow down as well, right?
Yeah, and that will just slow down the rest of the economy. And don't forget, I mean, this is nothing new. We've been in an economy here where we've been spending. The government has been printing and spending way more that they're taking in on tax revenues. That's a bad equation. It's almost like this whole country, Dave, is headed in the wrong direction, especially financially.
Yeah, you have been pleading with people to flee to the safety and security of owning precious metals, getting a sufficient percentage of their assets into gold so they can weather this storm, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, people need to wake up, Dave. Look at just what's going on financially. It's unraveling right before our eyes. People need to protect and try to hold on to their purchasing power. Protect whatever financial freedoms you have left right now. Protect whatever financial privacy you have left right now. Take some of it, diversify into physical gold and silver. That's something that you can do today.
A reminder here that you are listening to The Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group, and today our topic is warnings, of which we have actually more than we even have time to cover here in our program. But I've got more questions coming up. First, though, in just a few moments, we're going to make this very tangible. We're going to take a look at a specific gold product that can add to your secure wealth, and that's coming up right after this.
Your wake-up call from veteran-owned Midas Gold Group. You've seen it in the news. Truckers and even their smallest supporters are being targeted. Bank accounts closed. They rescinded the order under pressure, but it demonstrates just how quickly it can happen. Now you understand all the talk about getting everyone on digital currency. It's the ultimate power trip and control over you. With this tool, they will be able to easily extinguish the freedoms of anyone who disagrees with them. Democrats in the U.S. approve of Trudeau's protest suppression nearly 4-1. It's not hard to speculate they would support the same thing here. Gold and other precious metals add a layer of privacy and protection to your finances. Get private. Get protected. Get on the phone and call Midas Gold Group now. 855-322-GOLD. That's 855-322-4653 or MidasGoldGroup.com.
And we're back with more of The Gold Standard, brought to you by Midas Gold Group with Ken Russo. I'm Dave Dino, and our topic today is warnings. By the way, if you live in the Los Angeles or Phoenix area, we encourage you to come and visit our local office to meet with us in person. For the address and directions, just log on to our website, MidasGoldGroup.com, M-I-D-A-S, MidasGoldGroup.com. For those of you listening in other cities, call us directly at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers 855-322-4653. Ken, this is, as I always say, and it's because it's true, one of my favorite portions of our time together each and every week as we look at a specific gold product. And today, we're going to feature the gold South African Krugerrand. This has become a staple, hasn't it, for many gold owners?
Yeah, and let's just think real quick. How could I protect myself from the warnings, from the stock market that's falling, from commodities that are skyrocketing, from individual stocks? You know, some of the best stocks the last few years are just getting taken out to the woodshed. And, this is all concerning. So what could we do about it? Well, what you can do is you can take some of your paper assets that you may have at the bank or whatever that are dwindling, Federal Reserve notes, before they become digital dollars, and you can convert some of those sideways into gold Krugerrands that you could hold on to yourself at your own home, in your own safe, outside of the banking system. What an idea, right, Dave? Take some money out of the banking system and diversify. So the gold South African Krugerrand is kind of like one of those old-timer coins. It's one of the first coins that came out back in the 60s as available to invest in from the South African Mint. Tens of millions of coins now are in circulation. It's offered at an extraordinary value, Dave, for bullion collectors across the globe. I have one right here in my hand. We do have some here in our inventory in Phoenix and in Thousand Oaks. We do business in all 50 states, and the gold Krugerrands right now are available. There's just something about the feeling of this coin, Dave. It's can't be duplicated in comparison with holding other normal circulated coins. It's a heavy, thick coin. It gives you and feels like it has a lot of value.
It's got a very impressive appearance. You've kind of alluded to that.
Yeah, it's different. You know, it's 1.1 troy ounces. It's 22 carats. It's 91.67% pure. So it's a little browner and There's some other alloys in there like copper, but it's a great coin. It measures 33 millimeters in diameter. It's just under 3 millimeters in thickness. So it's a sizable gold coin compared to some smaller coins like, let's say, the maple leaf or the Australian kangaroo.
What about the images on it? Can you maybe, as you hold one there, give us an idea of what the images look like?
Yeah, well, on the front, you have South African statesman Paul Krugman in what is to be considered the heads up, heads up side, and South Africa's national symbol, the antelope-like springbok, springing across the reverse of the coin. And as you said, Dave, it's considered a staple part of many collections of precious metal holders that want to have physical precious metals that they can buy with cash type accounts or non-qualified type accounts.
And you can answer any questions that our listeners may have when they call Midas Gold Group?
Well, that's what we do, Dave. We're more than happy to advise and suggest prospective buyers on, whether this coin or other coins is right for their collection or for wealth preservation or diversification. Most of the investors that come to Midas Gold Group they don't want to be collectors, and this is not a collectible coin, but I would tell them that gold right now is skyrocketing. It's approaching 20-year highs. It will probably eclipse it soon. Nothing goes up or down in a straight line, so we'll see, 3 steps forward, 1 step back. I would urge them to consider getting some gold while it's still relatively available and inexpensive compared to all the money that's been printed. The gold South African Krugerrand is one great coin to do that with. It's immaculate condition, like all the coins from Midas Gold Group. It comes straight from the mint itself, brilliant uncirculated condition, and one of the many bullion products that will offer the basic fundamental benefits of diversifying in physical gold, Dave.
A reminder here, you are listening to The Gold Standard with Ken Russo from Midas Gold Group, and today our topic is warnings. And I have more questions coming up right after this.
Your wake-up call from veteran-owned Midas Gold Group. You've seen the news. Truckers and their supporters were financially targeted. Democrats in the U.S. approve of Trudeau's protest suppression nearly 4-1. It's not hard to speculate they would support the same thing here in America. Gold and other precious metals add a layer of privacy and protection to your finances. Get private, get protected, get on the phone and call Midas Gold Group now. 855-322-GOLD. That's 855-322-4653 or MidasGoldGroup.com.
And we're back with more of The Gold Standard, brought to you by Midas Gold Group with Ken Russo. I'm Dave Dino, and our topic today is warnings. By the way, if you live in the Los Angeles or Phoenix area, we encourage you to come and visit with us in our local office so we can meet with you in person. For the address and directions, just log on to our website, MidasGoldGroup.com, M-I-D-A-S, MidasGoldGroup.com. For those of you listening in other cities, call us directly at 855-322-GOLD, 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers, that's 855-322-4653. Now, back to our topic of warnings. We're seeing more and more articles in the business pages of major newspapers and on major websites warning of a possible catastrophic failure of our economic system that could lead to huge losses on Wall Street and a continued devaluing of the dollar. Here's another one, Ken, that I just came across. It's titled, Strong Putin and Weak Biden to Trigger Historic Wealth Destruction. It says, it seems that 2022 will be the year when the U.S. empire disintegrates faster than anyone could have imagined. Empires need strong leadership, but electing a weak octogenarian president certainly fits the picture of a collapsing empire. Wow.
Yeah, well, who knows? I don't know if their crystal ball is working today, but, those are some pretty dramatic headlines, But what I would say is, with everything going on, and if you're a level-headed person, not on Mars or anything, just a level-headed person, why wouldn't you want to diversify? with everything happening, why wouldn't you want to have some protection? Why wouldn't you want to take some risk off the table? So, will these people be right? I don't know. Maybe some of them will be. Maybe some of these things will happen. But what I can tell you, and I'm not a, MIT graduate or, a rocket scientist or anything like that. If we consider everything that's going on geopolitically, financially, and economically, and in the markets, it would be insane to keep all of your assets in paper and in risky paper assets. You have to diversify. And one of the easiest things to do, Dave, and we've been talking about this for a while, is move some of your paper assets from your IRA or from your old 401k or from your bank accounts or from your stockbroker account into physical gold and silver that you could hold on to, or at least have an IRA backed by gold bars and gold coins. Doesn't that make sense? So I would ask you, why wouldn't you do that in this type of environment? You have to do something to protect what you've earned, because all of this, these warning signs, it's leading to something that will be catastrophic.
Gold, on the other hand, has for 5,000 years been the best protection in any crisis, and this time, well, it's unlikely to be any different, right?
Well, yeah, keep it simple. What can you do? Gold is insurance for our portfolio. Gold is insurance for our investments. Gold is insurance for our savings. So how can you diversify? For investors who stick to all stock markets, Dave, they're going to get a shock of a lifetime. Things will bounce from time to time, but this bubble, this is the biggest bubble, the mother of all bubbles. We've talked about it. We've done shows on it. It will burst eventually. So the decline in asset values will be violent. It will be sustained. It's going to lead to massive wealth destruction sometime down the road, and the start could happen at any time. And once it happens, and we're starting to see the beginning of it right now, a lot of people are going to be stuck. They're not going to be able to get out. It will be too late.
For those who are listening who are experienced buyers of precious metals, they already know that they can call you. They already know what they can talk with you about. But for those who perhaps this is brand new to them, they're novices, you might say, they can still call you with great assurance, and they can ask you all their questions. You can educate them on the use of precious metals, and then you can help them to decide on how to move money over. You can help them with the process. You can really make it understandable and easy for us, can't you?
Yeah, and I would ask people to just be, open to some ideas. This is not anything that needs to be, overly complicated. We will definitely hold the hand of every single investor that comes to Midas Gold Group. Most of the people who buy gold, they're not seasoned collectors. They're not seasoned gold buyers. They're just realistic, good Americans that want to diversify and protect their nest egg. So if you're a realistic, good patriot, good American, somebody who wants to protect what you've worked so hard for yourself and for your kids, and you want to diversify, give us a call and consider owning some gold.
All that you have said, those are the reasons why I personally own gold from Midas Gold Group. And Ken, thank you. Thank you for your help on that.
Anytime, Dave. Thank you.
That's going to bring us to the end of our time together today here on the Gold Standard with Ken Russo, brought to you by Midas Gold Group. A reminder, opinions given here are not intended to be specific to your investment strategy, but rather general information to give you a better understanding of investing in precious metals. For answers to your questions, call Midas Gold Group at 855-322-GOLD. 855-322-GOLD. By the numbers 855-322-4653. And the website is MidasGoldGroup.com. MIDAS, MidasGoldGroup.com. The Midas Gold Group is proud to be America's #1 veteran-owned gold dealer, supporting veterans' causes with a portion of profits donated to the Wounded Warriors Project and the Semper Fi Fund. So your investment in your future is also an investment in the future of those who have bravely served the cause of freedom. Again, the number to call to speak directly with Midas Gold Group is 855-322-GOLD. 855-322-GOLD. Ken, thank you again for your time today.
Nice to talk to you today, Dave, as always, and always nice to talk to our audience.
I'm Dave Dino. Come and join us again next week here at the same time for another edition of The Gold Standard.
The Gold Standard was brought to you by the Midas Gold Group.